Yeah, good morning. How have you been? It's been a while.
How is Singapore treating you?
Painful. I need a fucking massage gun at 5 in the morning. So yeah,
Where are you at right now in Singapore? What part?
uh, the Quincy Hotel. So I don't fucking know.
Oh, okay. Because I used
Yeah,
to live in Serangoon Road near
yeah.
Lavender. Yeah.
This place is beautiful, man. I've never been here. I thought it was gonna be like Jakarta, and no, this place is white as shit. So
It's small as fuck, but it
yeah,
is really like a really good place to be in, and it's like super
everyone's
fun.
super nice.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. It's like it's like being in one big shopping mall. Everything except
Right.
clean. So it's fucking
Right.
wild, man.
So
Yeah,
have
it's
you
been a
been like
while.
teaching at Evolve?
I don't know where that is, and I don't know where I'm teaching. It's one of Chris Howder's affiliates. It's this big gray and orange place. They just had Craig Jones there.
Okay. Because there's
Um,
one big MMA place in Singapore known as the Evolve MMA. Uh, that's like really big. So I don't know anything apart from Evolve in Singapore because
oh
I
man,
was there when I was a kid. So I mean I know nothing about Singapore now. So
yeah, makes two of us. No, the guys that wanted to see me found the place for me to teach at. Like I didn't organize seminars here at all. It's private lessons. People have flown in to do privates with me, and we found a space. And now that I'm in the space, I'm sure the instructor was watching the other day, so we'll find out in the next few days. Maybe he'll want me to do something. I doubt it. They're like super sporty over here, and I was kicking people in the fucking head. So,
right,
but
right.
last night they were rolling around doing ecological learning patterns and shit, and I'm teaching the peza. I'm like
Oh,
kicking
they do
motherfuckers
that
in the
here?
knee.
They do that here?
Oh, they do it everywhere now. It's the new thing. No one wears a gi. Everyone wears tights, and they're all doing positional sparring and calling it something different. So
But yeah, I saw your podcast with like the main podcast, and you guys like went over the ecological approach.
I still don't know what it is.
Yeah, so I wanted to like talk to you about it. I was like, this is why I want to do like a part two with Chris Burns. I fucking love the
All right.
conversation. But so because like the ecological approach though sounds like a new concept, I think it's like Greg Souders' brainchild, and
Yeah.
it's not like I don't think like we can do it just by like positional sparring because he has his own like methodology of like yeah, like inculcating all the like the right behaviors in you because like
Yeah.
his thing is because I somehow with my years of like studying Hixon and his philosophy of jiu-jitsu, I think like it is kind of close to Greg Souders in a way because if you see like Hixon doesn't have a patented approach to guard passing in general. He's like, okay, this is like angles and pressures, and it just keeps like you can. He just keeps modifying it. You just bring a new guard, he's gonna be like, okay, where do I put my weight? Where do I change the angle? And how do I pass? So it's like being in the moment and like trying to find the right behaviors based off of like certain basic concepts, right? So I think like Greg Souders has like taken that to next level, but I don't think it's just like positional sparring and because I haven't like talked to the guy. I had like asked him for an interview and he never responded. So I couldn't like talk about much, but from watching his stuff, like he explains it in a way that is like pretty close to what people like Hickson teach because like there's like thousands of gods, like variations of gods, and there's like a
Yeah.
millions of different positions that you can like keep going over, right? So it's just like certain basic concepts and like inculcating the right behaviors in you so that like you find your best version of jiu-jitsu to tackle the situation. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. I think that's cool. I think that's probably why I didn't study it because I feel fine. Like like I'm not struggling or like how the fuck do I deal with the I'm trying to come up with a funny name for a guard, but every time I do, it's an actual guard that somebody knows. So that when I said the Taraka Plata the other day, because it's a funny fucking name,
Yeah.
The guy Taraka responded. He's fun. Thank God he has a good sense of humor. I like
Terry
him.
Hopstock,
Yeah,
yeah,
whatever. I don't fucking know. He
the
seems like a really
Norwegian.
nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
So if I call it something stupid, there's probably a dude that named it that, and I'm gonna have to deal with that person online. So let's call it some stupid fucking guard. Whatever version of a guard people are making up now because of the rules where I can't kick him in the dick. Um, I have to, yeah, it's a whole thing now. Like, there's so much space, and it's really easy to be violent with that much space and less control.
Yeah.
So I don't give a shit. But if I got to deal with a guard, I'm not gonna step back and go, okay, I'm gonna go on BJJ Fanatics and look for that specific guard series pass counter system. Like, fuck that shit. I
Punch him in the
want you to
dick.
do. Well, okay, so you can. That's a personal preference. Um, but the fun part about sparring is figuring out these new puzzles live,
Right.
you know? So one of the coolest things that I ever learned from Master Hixon was the idea of reverse engineering a problem instead of like shitting on a guard. Like, well, I wouldn't do that in the streets. Like, fuck that. Put me in the guard, let me feel it, and then start to do a sweep. And then, okay, time, let's do it again. Okay, time, let's do it again. And like literally just start to feel what the answer is and slowly move forward. I think that's one of the greatest things I've ever learned, and I don't get to talk about that much. Um, so instead of having to worry about all these systems and this is the move to the move to the move, I want to feel the move and do the opposite. That's the system, the
The the
opposite system.
the last time we had this conversation, the one thing that you mentioned like stuck onto me like glue. Right. For example, the hip bump sweep counter, right? The way you deconstructed the move, your hips has to like go past the Achilles, and that's when you start to like collapse. Your structure starts to collapse. So just like thrust your hip forward, and it's gonna stop. I've been hitting that on people, and they're like losing their mind. So
Well,
yeah, so the I like because like you are becoming the new big thing in jiu-jitsu because of the way you approach. Now let me tell you that the reason is when somebody talks about Hixon nowadays, like unfortunately nobody cares because it's like thing of the past. Oh, Gracie's now it's like Gordon Ryan, Craig Jones, which I understand, but the thing is like his knowledge, the depth of his knowledge.
those guys are good. I'm just violent. It's the difference.
Yeah, it's different because it's a different jiu-jitsu, but we want the essence of Hixon jiu-jitsu to be preserved. And the problem is like Hixon ain't teaching no more, especially on platforms like BJJ Fanatics. And also like his English is not like that, like articulate. And we need people like you to get that knowledge and like explain it in a way which is like pretty articulate and like easy for people to understand, so that the knowledge is preserved and it's like transmitted and it's like communicated in the right form. So in that way I would like to appreciate you the way you said about like the deconstruction of a move. Okay, if he's trying to push you right, just move left. That's just the opposite. So, and John Jock Machado, I don't know if you watched the podcast with Joe Rogan. He kind of talks about like a concept of the defense being much shorter than the offense. For example, if I had to armbar you, I gotta like put my fist on the side of your face and then like swing my legs over, get my butt to the ground, grab your wrist, and like fall back and like connect with my knees and then break. The defense is just pulled back. So
Like that.
likewise for the hip bump sweep, I gotta like trap your arm so that you don't post, and then I gotta like bump you over so that like your hips go past the Achilles. All I had to do is stop. So in a way we are like talking about the same thing, but there is like so many different viewpoints, there's so many different ways of thinking about it, and people like you are doing a good job of like explaining stuff instead of like explaining the move. Okay, Hixon said this, put your weight here, put your weight here, fine. But if you are able to like give give people a basic fundamental concept to think about, they can find their own shit. You know what I'm saying?
I yeah, I so there's a couple things that were rolling around in my head while you were saying that. One of them was like, yeah, I'm the guy that's explaining this stuff with dick jokes. Like, I feel ridiculous.
You
The
know what that
other, like, I
does?
need to be a
It attracts more
professional.
people.
I'm aware of what I'm doing. Like, I I teach a certain way because I know people don't really have an attention span the way I have an attention span. And I'm not being dismissive. I'm just saying I've got like OCD. Like I pay attention intently and I shut my fucking mouth. And these days it's mostly like scroll past while you're pooping. So I know what I'm doing is attracting people because I've had to keep attention spans for a while. It's my job.
Yeah.
When I'm teaching a class, I don't just go, oh, you put your knee here. No, dude, I'm gonna keep your fucking attention. And
Yeah.
usually I think the way I present myself helps, but it's also very fucking bad because I am representing a whole family that doesn't do anything like I do. They're like genuine gentlemen and shit. Like, yeah, they're gentlemen, but they're also like they're trying to be better than this,
But
and I'm not. So
you know what? Because like when you say the F word a lot and shit a lot, it means either you are some random guy on the streets or you're like super passionate about something you're talking about. And you know, like the guy David Goggins, he always says like this motherfucking thing, this fucking
he
thing,
says
because he's like passionate.
poopy pants. I love him. He says poopy pants. I stole that. He's all fucking poopy pants. I did, dude. You said that. Did you watch the Joe Rogan thing? Like, I haven't done anything in a decade. I was just on the phone with a guy who like is a wonderful author. He's like, "Did you read the new article?" I'm like, "No, I'm so busy in my own horse shit that like I never get to catch up with David Goggins or Joe Rogan, and I want to because I don't not want to, but I'm fucked. Like between the toddler and studying and yelling at people,
Yeah.
like I at the time I get to stare at a cool plant. Like I'd rather stare at the cool plant because this is a weird country and I'm enjoying it. But like, all right, I'm sorry about the swearing, but I'm not sorry because I know who I am and I don't want to be anybody other than me. I am trying to not swear, just so you know, because every word that comes out of my mouth comes out of my kid's mouth. And I don't want him to deal with the shit that I'm dealing with right now.
Yeah.
So if I stop swearing, it's not because of you, internet. So
Yeah.
it's because I love my son.
Sometimes I think like, I mean, I'm not like saying everybody has to swear or something like that. But when you swear and you are a man worth your salt, people like pay attention. Okay, dude, this fucking guy. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? So that you're not like basically fucking around and you're like making a point
Yeah,
and you want it to be like delivered. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I want to
certainly
do that,
do.
but I have this nice guy in me, so I'm like, it's just gonna be like people. Oh, why is he acting out of character? So, but anyways, you know, like the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu has to be preserved, especially like the Hixon's
I
version.
think so.
Yeah,
Um, I'm very passionate about that. A lot of people aren't because I was teaching last night, and I'm not diminishing anybody in that academy.
yeah.
When I was teaching, they were doing like really cool no gi shit, and I'm in the corner and I'm literally kicking people in the knees, and they're looking at us like we're doing karate in the garage because they're all no gi, and I'm cool. Like I'll teach jujitsu whatever you're wearing. So the guys I was teaching, I was like, "What do you want to wear? Do you want to do no gi? You want to do gi?" And they're like, "What do you think, professor?" I'm like, "All right, man, put your gi on, all good." Because the reason I teach in a gi is because of the concept of connection. If there's a whole series of events that creates the hand on the shoulder Americana, and no one knows that because no one cares. I remember teaching it in Melbourne, Australia, and they posted a photo of me teaching it, and a black belt that I was training with probably a year prior was like, "Jiu-Jitsu is great if the other guy does everything for you." I'm like, what the fuck? Like, if you had a good dance partner, the entire principle behind everything that I'm teaching and doing is you have intently given something that I get to take. It's more like chi sao and sticky hands than it is about scrambling for fucking submissions. And no one's paying attention because honestly, no one's been taught and no one's been swearing with dick jokes to try and tell people. Like I'm sure that somebody out there, like Jean-Jacques, like the intent of this and that, he says it eloquent and he's all handsome like Antonio Banderas and shit, and you got this gutter snipe twat yelling about it. So the difference between like who are you going to listen to is pretty broad. But me trying to teach Gracie Jiu-Jitsu in the midst of the opposite of like, well, that's old man shit. No one cares. And they're looking at me like I'm insane. And I feel better. Like I felt it's weird, you know,
That's
like
because you're doing the right
yeah,
thing.
I'm doing the right thing over in this corner.
Yeah.
So but the idea of just quickly the idea of holding the gi, that's what gives. Like what gives the lock. So if I had an underhook and we were pummeling, like remember that the really fucking 300-pound guy that like snapped Sean Strickland's arm?
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's that
what's
guy?
his name? Orlando Sanchez.
He's fucking dead, right?
He's dead. Yeah, he died.
Yeah, so I
Drug
can't piss him
overdose.
off. I don't know, dude. There's some bad motherfuckers out there, and they're high on cocaine. Watch your mouth.
Whatever.
Dude, I don't know him. I don't know Sean. I don't know anybody, but like I do know that short shot is brilliant. Like I love that. Yeah, that's a thing. And you know what that is? That's the old Gracie Jiu-Jitsu hand on the shoulder arm lock. If there's no connection, there's no intent, there's no
it's like for
lock.
the shirt grab, right?
Yeah. So the thing is, when people teach it, when they teach it, they just teach a dance move with no connection and no context. So the two most important things are gone.
Yeah.
Imagine if we started out with your hand on my shoulder, not grabbing onto a gi. My job is to have my hands up and in the middle, and I'm going to place my forearm across your forearm. And I'm going to back away because it's hard for you to touch my face, hard for you to kick me a dick, hard for you to headbutt, and I can disconnect from you. Meanwhile, if I disconnect from you and you hold on to me and I can't get away, that's what creates that lock. Yeah. No one teaches that. I haven't met one.
If they choose to engage, break them. If they don't, break away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, honestly, you just summarized jiu-jitsu for me. Yeah. So if you hold a guard, like that's your fault for holding on to me, Tiger.
Right.
Shit gets worse from here. I was happy to walk away.
Yeah. And also like especially like Hixon's Jiu-Jitsu has like changed the way I do Jiu-Jitsu, especially in the gym, where I could just like, you know, all these like athletic guys that try to like prove a point, and I could just like easily tackle them with the connection stuff. And a lot of people don't understand because like it's not a new move like a Tarico Plata or like a
Please don't shit on him. He's so sweet.
But it's I mean, I'm not shitting on everybody. It's like I'm just saying it's not like a new.
I just thought it was a funny name.
And then like buggy choke or anything, but it's like the same
I'll
thing.
Shit on that one.
With the
I'll shit right all over that one. Fuck that thing.
But it's like added with this a sense of connection and stuff. For example, when you mount, nobody is taught how to mount. Like, don't sit on your opponent, pinch them with your knees, and like slightly be inclined, you know, so that like the hips are arrested, and even if they bump, it doesn't like affect you. And if they try to you know, like push you backwards, your shoulders are not like behind your hips, so that like you're more susceptible to fall backwards.
So the middle.
Yeah. So you just like slightly lean forward. I see a lot of people like mount me, just sit. Oh my gosh, it's so easy. Like your knees are floating. I'm just gonna like elbow escape in a second. And also, interestingly, a lot of people do not know how to escape mount. They just go left and right, bridging, and I'm just like attached to them, and they just like give me their back for free. And I'm like, no, put your elbow in front of the knee so that I can advance any forward. Put your forearm on the hip. Turn your knee towards the floor so that you can scrape under the leg. You flex it, and it's gonna like put him in the half guard automatically. If the guy poshes up, his knees are heavy, so don't try to do the elbow escape because it's a lot of wasted movement, a lot of slack. Stiff arm, connect your lower body, boom.
It's not a thing anymore. It's That old saying, the water's cleaner closer to the well. It's cleaner for a reason, because that well isn't like doing a 9 to 5 job as well as watching YouTube and listening to Chat GPT. I don't know what things are. I'm old now. It gets muddled with time, but it also gets refined with time, right? So if you imagine somebody who dedicated their entire existence to that one thing,
Yeah.
and they really, really cared about that one thing, and then they tried to pass it on to other people. And passing on is forever going to be that game of telephone, because everyone is going to put their own little spin on everything. Like if
Yeah.
2 plus 2 equals 3. I, are you sure it does? I heard it was 4. Like whatever. I heard it was 5, bitch. Like cool. You do
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
A lot of people out there want to be the one that invented something. A lot of people out there want to be the one that refined something. Not a lot of people want to be the one that try and help that one
Pass
thing.
it on the
Can
purest form.
Yeah, the purest possible form. And if you can add to it and sharpen it, please do. It's kind of lost in translation at the fucking there you go, lost in translation. It's lost in translation at the moment, but I don't think everybody has lost it. It's just I don't know how to put it politely. It's become the new football. Like I don't fucking like football. My father was a football coach, by the way. Like my whole family, like everyone loves sports except me.
Like
I'm the
American
asshole
football or
that's just like,
soccer?
yeah, fuck you, American football. Yeah, no, I played soccer when I was a little kid, but and I grew up in Australia where it's called football, but
But
also
how come
Australia
you
doesn't
don't
give a
have the
shit about
Australian
soccer.
accent?
I don't know. John Wayne is I don't fucking know. I grew up. I think it's because I spent the I don't know what the term is. There's a technical term for it, but it's the that amount of time where you it sinks in the most during your youth.
Yes.
And I was in Atlanta, Georgia. So
Right.
I'm fucking Atlanta for good or bad.
So, but are you
Um,
Australian by birth?
I no, by birth I was born in Florida. I'm that shit show by birth. I was born in Florida. So I was
Uh-huh.
born in Florida, moved to Georgia, and then all around, and it's a nightmare. And then Australia at 11 for a chunk, and then back at 15 for a chunk, and then back at 16, 17 for 20 odd years, and then back to Arizona for a chunk, and then back to Sydney. But the majority of my life has been Australia. So
Hmm.
think let's say shitty accent, good sense of humor. Like, because Americans don't have a fucking sense of humor. Sorry, you guys are terrible.
but
Wait,
but
are you
but
American?
nah, I'm Indian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have a sense of humor. You seem pretty solid. I'm fucked.
But can you like pull the Australian accent off if you wanted to?
No, you just talk through your nose. Yeah, I
Okay.
totally can. Um, and yeah, it's like you talk through your fucking nose and you swear a lot. So
Swear.
I know I can, but it's also 5 a.m. over here and I haven't had a coffee and I'm not a jukebox. So fuck you. I'll, I'll pull that shit out when I'm ready.
I'll wait for it. That's fine. So my question is like, how much athleticism do you think a person needs to be able to like successfully implement jiu-jitsu? Because like Hixon, he never lost
Give me
a
context. Yeah, you got to get so okay. Hixon never lost because Hixon was competitive, and somebody was telling me that the other day. I can't remember their argument was like, "Whoa, Hixon competed. Like, good for Hixon. I got in a lot of street fights. Like, that's yay. My claim to fame wasn't filmed. Like, he had a purpose to compete, and he stood for something. I stand for very little. Like my priorities are my priorities. My priority is not to compete, especially at 42 after breaking my spine. Like,
yeah.
fuck off. I don't need to compete to do shit. Hickson did what he did like a fucking stud. Went out there and I was like, hey, went out there with this full Bushido. Full
Yeah.
Bushido, like, all right, this is how I
I
die.
die, I
Let's do
die.
this.
Yeah.
So much respect for that. Because like I remember being at a Waffle House and thinking the exact same thing one time. Like, all right, this is how I die. I resonated with that on a non-sport level. Like,
Yeah.
like cool, I'll just stab that guy. The idea of athleticism should go towards the sport or should go towards your personal decision as an adult to stay healthy. I stay healthy physically because I don't know if I have to take care of something. So you ever see that video of that kid in a stroller that's like rolling down the hill and this fat woman's chasing the stroller? I think Tim Kennedy posted like, if you can't chase the kid in the stroller, like you shouldn't be a mom. That's some dark and mean shit to say, but I'm like, I agree. If you
Yeah.
can't take care of your child,
Yeah.
fucking get it together. So for me, my fitness and my health is specifically for the well-being of my family and my friends and myself, because I'm in therapy. The idea is to stay healthy. If you want to be an athlete and you want to compete in something, the idea is to gear your life towards that athletic event.
Yeah.
So yeah, you should totally be a stud if that's your goal. My goal is different, but the same. If you want to be good at jujitsu, it depends on which version of jujitsu do you want. Do you have a 10-minute timer? Are there striking rules? Is it 80 cc's? Is it CGI? Is it EBI? Is it an acronym? Is it an acronym or acronym? Can't remember. I'm not smart. Whatever the rule set, that's what you should be gearing your training towards. My rule set doesn't exist, and my training towards is within that context. Where is the nearest weapon? Where are the exits? I should be a little bit aware of the law in the area that I'm in. What should I say when the police arrive? That's the shit that matters to me, as opposed to, am I allowed to do an inverted heel hook? Or can I slap them in the head like a bongo? Like, that's someone else's problem. That's not mine. So I think if we start to contextualize and we start to split things off and we go, this is not for sport. And it's okay to say that. And I don't need to offend you, because this is useful for the 56-year-old soccer mom to learn how to get away from somebody and get back to the soccer van. That's useful to me. In my heart, I'm very happy with the idea of helping people defend themselves.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm also very happy showing an athlete how to smash their way through these silly guards and then head and arm choke them to prove a point. Because I got some solid competitive guys.
Okay.
And eventually these competitive guys will shine their way through, and hopefully they're wearing a Hixon badge, you know? But the thing is, I never push competition. I don't. I think you should.
You want,
I think you should, because it's better than getting into a street fight. Because like when back in my day, like when you did jujitsu, you wanted to know if it worked, so you would get in fights.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, it's true. We didn't really have comps. We had like VHS tapes and shit, and then the competitions were like, when I was starting out, we had IBJJF, and it was a fucking shit show back then. I don't know what it is now. I've done it a long time.
A little better.
Yeah, none of us were excited about that. We were like gonna go down on Friday night and see how it goes. You know what I mean?
In the bars.
Yeah, and like,
that's where we tested jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, and a lot of the guys ended up being bouncers in Melbourne. Like a lot of them like took a side gig just to test their abilities.
Right.
So I think a safer way to test your jiu-jitsu is in a competition. A safer way to build your inoculation therapy, because that's a thing. Like the first time I competed, I remember at the end I walked over and the person I was with was like, dude, you were white. And I was like, I know I'm white. Like, no, you were white. The blood left your face. And I was like, the first comp I ever did, like I was just fucking pale and like tingling and tunnel vision. And then I remember I got into an altercation at a bar, and I had the same feeling where it just like the blood went out of my face. I had tunnel vision and my legs started to shake because it was two guys standing above me. And I'm like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, it's time to fight. And I was like, oh, that feels exactly like a competition. And then the more you do these things, the less that feeling exists.
Yeah.
You know?
Because you're used to it,
Yeah. And that's not a tough guy thing to say. It's like your body inoculates to these scary things are not scary. Like I used to be afraid of flying. I live on a plane.
Yeah,
like the turbulence hits and I sit there like, fucking kill me. Like this is how I die finally. Like you come to terms with doing things by doing things. It's probably not a healthy way to do it. But I think doing competition is great, especially when we're first starting out, because you get a taste of what a self-defense scenario
Might
It's not, dude. It's
it,
not.
it's
But you
not,
do
but
get the taste.
yeah, taste of it. Yeah. So I'll just like add a little more context to my previous question because I wasn't like contextualizing it. But what I'm trying to say is like, because what happened was a couple of weeks ago, a pretty unathletic, like a big person in my gym came up to me, and like I was like teaching the pendulum sweep to people in the best way I could with all the like theories behind it, and how, getting your knee to the chest makes you like a ball and makes you like an unstable structure to be on top of, so he can't like crush you no more, and he's like, oh, on a medicine ball, and then you could like flip him over. And that guy couldn't even like get his knees to his chest, and I felt pretty shitty like it as a teacher. I mean, I'm not a teacher, but at that moment, right, I'm just teaching a move, and this guy wasn't able to do it because of his like unathletic nature. So I was like, how do I modify this technique, or what do I tell him? So I was like, I felt so bad. So I was like, because you teach people like that, right? So you're not teaching them to be like competitors. So in that case, if somebody can, is like a 56-year-old soccer mom that had like 3 kids, so like, she can't even like move her legs the proper way to do a thing the proper way. So how do you like tackle those situations?
You all right? So you're not a shitty teacher. You just haven't been told that you're a good teacher. You literally just said what the person. What was that whole metaphor about a medicine ball that you just said? You ball up and you put them on a medicine ball, and it's easy to move them.
Yeah,
The concept is more important than the move.
yeah,
So if you could edify the concept to that person, they don't have to do the pendulum sweep. They can do any sweep.
yeah,
What you're doing is you're teaching broadly. The idea is you off what's called base. If this person is sitting on a medicine ball, they're easy to tip over.
yeah,
So find a different medicine ball for your student that can't fucking do whatever weird shit you did. Like, I
yeah,
don't do pendulum sweeps. That
yeah,
doesn't make me a bad instructor. I'm a pretty good fucking instructor. So
yeah.
I think you're doing great. Don't um don't feel like you failed because your student can't do a move. Feel like you failed if your student didn't understand
The
the
concept.
idea behind what you're teaching,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I'm yeah, I was trying to find a joke to go with feel like a failure, like just feel like a failure. I think you did a good job. As long as the student understands that you're trying to off their balance and what is your goal of offing the balance, boom, you're a good instructor. Let's say I did the scissor sweep, and my scissor sweep is definitely different than anybody else's because it's specifically don't get punched in the face scissor sweep.
yeah.
It's not I'm holding a
Knee
gi
facing
scissor sweep.
downwards, and like, it's
No, nope,
uh-huh,
it's
uh-huh.
not that one.
Okay.
Mine's valetudo open guard. So
Yeah.
I don't because there's context with the knee down. I love that one, but I will get punched. That one specifically because versus because my jujitsu has become very like that instead of this. The
Mm-hmm.
concepts behind my jujitsu is the phone books now. My
Hmm.
jujitsu is that. It's like a 8-page manual that they hand out to the military. I don't need the phone book of jujitsu. I need the phone book of the concepts that make jujitsu. So the idea behind the scissor sweep that you're talking about is beautiful and perfect in every way because what are you doing? Your shin is connected to the hip line, you're pushing your knee and you're pushing your Achilles, and you are adding weight, not lifting weight. When you
Yeah.
add weight by pushing downwards, it pushes the hip bone across the Achilles. Look
Yeah.
at you, you're a fucking genius. Meanwhile, how do I do that without getting punched in the face?
Hmm.
There you go. So we have to add another layer onto that. Same as the pendulum sweep. So when you do your pendulum sweep, can you be punched in the face?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah.
think so.
So
Yeah.
I'm not gonna teach that one. And I
Yeah.
don't see a downside. I just don't care. The idea is if you taught that student that you're offing base and the idea of offing base is to get to a dominant position by being on top and adding weight, you're a
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal instructor because that's the bare bones of what you're supposed to be teaching, not
Right.
a cool move that has a cool name.
True.
Pendulum sweep. I call it the fuck off that way or the fuck
Fuck
off
off.
that way. It's a solid name. Can't shit
I
on
mean,
that one online.
that yeah. I mean, like just like Eddie Bravo coming up with like names like Stoner Control,
I'm sorry, but that was a genius decision on his
Sorcerer.
part.
Yeah,
If you look back to the syllabus for different Ryus, or yi, I can't pronounce it. And just, yi. Hey, hang on. Yi, yi. Oh, fuck it. Sorry, Nori. Yi. Different Ryus because I'm fucking white. When you go to those different schools, they have different manuals for their system that they teach. It shouldn't be one unified school of this is jujitsu. Like, no, that's your jujitsu. You go
yeah,
over there. Leave me alone. My jujitsu is over here. What he did, I thought was brilliant, where he named it his own thing. Like everyone in that room, if you yell out, "Do the fucking ham sandwich," everyone in that room knows exactly what that man said.
right,
I think
right.
it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like if I'm like, Hixon's like, oh, I'm like, fuck, which, I'm not shitting on Hixon at all. Please don't kill me. Road to perdition. Uh, it's hard for me to learn. I'm not a smart guy. It's like jamming a brick in my head for hours, but
Yeah,
once it's in there, it's in there.
yeah.
So when I take my notes, I write the words that resonate in my
That
head. Like
correct.
it's
Easy to
the
remember.
elephant wedge. Yeah, I'm gonna do the elephant cheese wedge. That's in my head. It's the elephant cheese wedge. If I tell the student, I'll pick a name. I'm sticking with Americana. It's not Juji Gatama. I'm sticking with Gatami. It's not Sankwaku. Nope. I'm good.
Shoulder
It's a
center.
triangle.
Center. Yeah,
Yeah,
triangle.
fuck you.
Yeah,
It's triangle.
yeah.
It's triangle with the arm across. So I don't know, man. But like I want to be smart like John. I can't be. I'm just not.
I mean, John is very smart. The thing is, if you don't know anything about jiu-jitsu, he knows a way to push jiu-jitsu into your head, like in like little like feeding a kid. You know what I'm saying? Just break it down, and he just like explains everything, everything, like the armbar positions, like three-quarter juji, quarter juji, full juji, pillow juji, scissor juji, and what can happen in this one, what doesn't work here. That has opened my mind, and like now I can
Oh,
see.
he arouses my OCD thoroughly. So like I'm sorry, like I'm very that's some foreplay to me. Like oh, he's doing it. He's doing it good. Like I'm in. But there's a point in time where it's too much. Because like the thing that really resonates
You
for
get
me when it
lost.
comes to Hixon.
Yeah.
No, like all right, so the OCD, like I don't get lost. I have notebooks of shit. But imagine I have like 30 lines and I whittle that 30 lines down to 5 lines and I whittle that 5 lines down to 2 lines.
Yeah.
I'm happier with that 2 lines.
Yeah.
It's this constraint thing. Back when I was an artist, you could be an artist and you can draw the same picture for like days and like really add details to it, like
Right.
Jeff Darrow kind of style. Or you can constrain yourself. You get some duct tape and you get a pair of scissors and a little bit of ink. And now you got to get creative with it and it's still art. Like I
Yeah.
love that because something about that is cool to me. What if it's like putting your hand in a belt? You know, the idea is like I can do the sweep. Okay, now can I do the sweep with one hand? All right, now I got to get weird with it because I got to use my shoulder instead of the hand. I can use my elbow instead of the hand. Okay, what if I can't use my shoulder now? What if I can't use my right leg? I think that gives you more autonomy with your body. It's a different way of learning and feeling as opposed to this divided by this times this equals this, but under these rule principles divided by this. Fuck you. I'm gonna lean that way.
That exactly what I mean. A similar analogy is what I give to my friends when I explain stuff. I'm not going to teach you like 2 + 2 is equal to 4 or 2 + 3 is equal to 5, because if the question paper has 2 + 4, you're going to be like, I've never been taught this one. But instead, if I teach you how to add two numbers, I can give you any two numbers and you can give me the answer. So I'm just going to like teach you the underlying principles and just make it like,
I like that.
you know what I'm
I'm
saying?
assuming that's the ecological guided discovery
Exactly.
method, right?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
That
So
that
I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I think
it's
if
not a bad
anything,
thing.
like dude, I'm the dumb one. If somebody can explain it to me without me falling asleep, I'm probably in.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as John. if I can watch John without falling asleep, I'm like, fuck yeah, that seems genius. I'm
But
sorry, it's the presentation that gets me. So I am Instagram. Like if you can't catch my eye for 20 seconds, like
yeah, that's what
uh
happens. But I try to, But with Hixon, I think it's just the
yeah,
opposite because he doesn't like articulate much, but it's more like touch and feel.
it is.
Somebody
Yeah.
once told me, I think it's like Henry Akins, he's like Hixon is a not a good teacher when he explains stuff, and but when he puts his hands on you, he's the best teacher.
I agree, but I disagree because I think it's because people don't fucking listen, you know? Because when Hickson explains something to me, he's goddamn beyond explaining. He's like, and here, move here, lean here. That's pretty blunt. And there wasn't 30 equations I had to get to that. So I I'm fine. There's a trash truck, sorry. I'm genuinely fine with the way he explains things, but then sometimes he gets impatient about explaining something. He's like, ah, and you have to understand his language. If you
Mm,
haven't been with him long enough, you don't understand the language and you're not really paying attention. I can understand people are like, what the fuck does awe mean? Like, dude, when he says awe to me, I'm like, yep, got it. I don't know what I was thinking. Sorry, coach. Like, yeah, I'm in 1,000%. So I think physically, verbally, and any fashion, visually, and those are the main ways that you learn. Anyways, like you audible, visual, tactile, or kinesthetic, or whatever. The
yeah.
main ways that you're learning, he covers all those bases, but he does it in such a way where if you're not paying attention, that's your fault.
Okay.
And he also another thing that people don't get past is like he's very adamant about teaching connection and base first before he adds to connection and base.
Mm,
And I think everyone should be that. But there's a line in the sand. Like I remember I organized a private with Hixon with this other guy, and the other guy's apparently a student under Hixon because he got there and he had to fix his base the entire private because he had no fucking base. And
mm.
then when we got back on the plane, he started complaining about how the private was all base. And I was like, well, fuck, man. I could have just fucking done that by myself. Like, well, then why didn't you? You fucking idiot.
Right.
So
Right.
he's very adamant about getting shit right before adding cool moves. And like the cooler the move, the less you probably needed it. But I still I don't know why I went on that spiel. I think it was basically that I think he's a very astute instructor. I think he's a very good teacher, but you have to be willing to spend the time with him to understand his language.
Mm.
Yeah, is that part now? Sorry, I talk a lot.
I think that's the case with Helson too, because like sometimes
Oh
he
my god, I want to learn from Helston so bad.
mixes Portuguese and English, and if you haven't been long enough with him, you don't understand what he means. But the people that have spent like I don't know, like 5 or 6 years with him, know exactly like what he's trying to mean by a particular sentence,
Yeah.
even if it's not like sound English wise. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
But do you have like any moments with Hickson where you like
I
felt
cry
the
a
OG
lot. Yeah.
Hickson like on you like I mean of course I know he's not rolling competitively but like he was
No,
like
dude,
okay
he's
try to
horrifying. Okay, yeah, whatever. When people say like, "Well, you didn't roll with Hickson back in Pico," like, fuck off, dude. I rolled with a very refined and scary Hickson every time he touches me. Like that man, it was not strength and speed to begin with. Holy shit! When he touches you, you feel it. You feel it. Like I cannot, I can't emphasize it enough. It doesn't feel the way you think it feels, right? So it's like when Ray Floro sticks you with a fucking Kubaton. Like it's not like in the movies, like like you flinch like a bitch. You know when Hickson's in mount, he's holding you in mount. You're like, damn, he's in the right place at the right time, and everything I do, he was already there. So I I wish I could have been rolling with the Lions back in the fucking 90s. I really do. But I feel the intent and it's scary as fuck. Even at this age, even at this point in his life, the lion and the rat and all of that, like fuck, dude. I don't want to fuck with the rat either.
speaking of which like Jack told me like a couple of months ago when I was like on call
How
with him
handsome I am? I love Jack.
yeah He told me about that too. But he said that he had a private with Hixon, and Hixon got him in
No,
a.
Jack doesn't do privates with Hixon. He just wears the patch. That's a what a liar. He's writing a book about Hixon right now. He just wears a patch.
Oh, really? Is he?
He bought it at Hot Topic. Fucking
So
around.
he said like,
Yeah, Hixon choking the shit out of him.
yeah, he
I
was
was
like
there.
holding onto the choke for like some 2 or 3 minutes solid.
Yeah.
He thought like, okay, I'm gonna like get it. It was like just sinking in, and
Yeah.
he had to tap. And he was like,
Just so
Hixon
you
is
know,
still
Jack
above.
went purple.
Yeah.
Jack went purple. I watched that.
Oh, you
Jack,
were there
because
too? Okay.
I'm assuming this is the other time that Hixon choked Jack. But like, he just like the choke is there, and Jack's like, "No, I'm getting out of this." And Hixon's like, "The fuck you are, son." And he's just adamantly holding on. And Jack's like, and he's slowly going purple. And
Yeah.
Hixon's just like, "No, fucking no." It's brutal. It's awesome.
But don't you think it's a little bit of like physicality too? Because like as an old man, if you're like holding, a choke without like the lactic acid like bothering you, I think it's like
All right.
years of, or
No,
it's just
there's
your
okay.
technique.
I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. I get what you mean, but I'll cut you short. The lactic acid comes from gripping as tight as you can and using all your muscles. Hixon is connected to the neck. He's not wasting any energy. He's connected. He understands that it is correct. So there's no reason to let go of correct. If I was to ratchet something to a car with a carbine and I go click, 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 and it gets really tight, and then I go, click, and I let it go, why would I click that thing into place before locking it in and go like, oh no, I'll start back from zero? No, he started at zero. One, two, three, got it. Okay, so now it's your fault. That's as much as I needed to do to finish that choke because I'm connected correctly, not lactic acid. So when you grab and grip and try and strength something versus a 2 to 3 finger grip with connection of the forearm to the carotid artery, and all you're doing is staying in the one spot and waiting for that person to kill themselves. You're not
Hmm.
wasting energy. You're not building
Wow.
lactic acid. The muscle tension is not there. It's not stubbornness so much as I know I'm right, which sounds very stubborn. I know I'm right, so there's no need to move along from this premise. Does that
Right.
make sense?
No, that makes absolute sense because sometimes I get because I do mostly like nogi, but I get to the rear naked choke and people are like just like trying to pull my arms down, but I'm like moving my elbows together, putting my chest in, and then like moving backwards. So I know that it's not gonna affect
Use
me
your
in any way,
legs.
shape, or form, and it's gonna
Do
like
you know to
slowly.
use your legs?
I'm sorry.
Do you know to use your legs for the rear naked choke?
Like just try to like bend them down and like.
The literal no, the literal opposite of that. You should do a private with Jack sometime. Are you in LA?
No, I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio.
All right.
Jack said like sometimes I can I can like fly
Find
over to
a
like meet
find a
him.
Hixon guy. If you're not
Excellent.
going to do a private with Hixon, all good chokes come from the legs. If I'm
Right.
doing a rear naked choke and you're defending, I'm choking you with my legs, not my arms, dude. My arms are the connection for the choke. So it's completely different to what you think. It's a game of telephone. The idea of extending the legs is what's like not getting the choke for you. You're not supposed to
Right.
be extending the legs. But
Right.
whatever, man. I'm sure somebody cool out there is extending the legs, and I'm wrong.
No, no,
Fuck.
no. I want to know the Hixon way because like I am in a set path in life. You know what I'm saying? I'm just not like wasting time on learning 1,000 different moves of how to do 1,000 different ways of how to do the rear naked choke. Rather, I'm gonna like focus on the most right way, and then like just do it again, again, again till it becomes
That's
my second nature. You
I think
know.
that's why I'm fucked financially is because people keep coming out with instructionals, and the instructionals and the seminars is how they actually make a living, not the academy. Meanwhile, my
Right.
instructionals are going to be like it's going to be like 5, and I'm done. Like,
Right.
so like no, use your legs, elbows together, knees together, done. And it's like yeah,
Right.
but what if like okay, done. So I can't upsell you on the new guard pass system equation. Sorry. I'm here to ruin fun for everybody. I actually got to ruin some really good fun yesterday. All the guys that come and bring these toys to me, it's like my job. My job is twofold, basically. I like to think like I'm a mechanic. Like Pedro Sauer has this beautiful metaphor about like tuning up the car, and I stole it like a motherfucker. Like I try and be a mechanic for you. I know you have a car and the car runs, but let's make it run smoother. And then the
Hmm.
other thing is, I like to be the guy that destroys your favorite toy. I'm a bully. So anytime you come to me with a cool move, like, dude, trust me, this shit works. I'm like, okay, try it. And then I let you do the move. And then I kind of pick it apart. Like few and far between am I going to go, yeah, man, that was correct. Sometimes I get to say, yeah, that's solid. I really like that. But mostly it's like, mm, let's break this toy. So jujitsu doesn't have to be as amazingly broad as you want it to be. You know, like it's evolving, man. You just don't understand. Like you have to be able to reach up and out and keep your mind open. Yeah, I am keeping my mind very open because every time you show me something, I have an opinion. And the opinion is it's silly goose. Because if I turn my chin and roll on my side, it doesn't work. So if we think in percentages, like we're it's percentages. We think in percentages, literally like, is it a high percentage thing or low? If it's low and you get it sometimes, cool, leave it. High percentage and it works, probably do it and then get good at that thing. Why bother with the low percentage that gets you love hearts on Instagram? No. Like I see shit like that where somebody does a thing and they put a fist on the neck and they start to push and the other guy's like, ah! Like, all right, you've never been choked, son. Because like I'm gonna lay there and stare at you. I remember this fucking collegiate wrestler held me in a what was it? Is the
Headlock.
no, it's a really cool thing. There's a way out of it, but it was very painful. It's the cradle.
Full
So he had me in a
cradle.
full cradle and he started grinding his chin into my cheekbone or something like that. And
Like
he's like
yeah,
waiting for me to tap.
yeah.
And I'm just laying there waiting for him to move so I can do the escape. They're playing my exit music. Time is it? Oh yeah, okay. Um, you get a soundtrack. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's yours now. Anyways, like the idea of all these things that are like vaguely painful doesn't make me say uncle.
Yeah,
Like death makes me
yeah,
say uncle. Like, is it gonna break? Am I gonna go to sleep? Those are the things that make me say uncle.
yeah.
Um,
That's what
now,
happened
like,
between like Mark Schultz and Hixon, right? The
think
cradle.
so.
Have you heard of the story?
Oh yeah, and like it's very easy to get out of a cradle. You have to deflate. You got to get smaller. So
Yeah,
instead of trying to force your way out of something, your job is to become the something and just kind of slip out the back because you can only like squeeze until whoop, it's gone. So that goes for all the cradles and all the positions as well. So whatever position you're in, there's always a very easy escape. But you're trying so hard to achieve this one thing that's the opposite of the escape half of the time.
yeah. It holds good for the. So if you like try to choke somebody from behind and they grab your arm tight, and if you like try to tense up, it's hard for you to pull your arm out. Instead, if you make your arm a noodle, it just like it's easy to like pull it out. So I
Yeah,
understand like
maybe.
the concept of deflation sometimes because like if you fit inside the grip perfectly, it's hard for you to pull out. But and also like speaking of the first thing that you said, like work on the higher percentage moves. Hani Yaya, he's a UFC fighter and a former ADCC competitor who was trained by Hixon for a while for his ADCC run in 2005, I presume, if I'm not wrong. So he said when he trained with Hixon, he was a competitor, right? And Hixon was not like as injured as he is right now. So he was in his like late 40s and he was still doing stuff. And he had so much respect for Hixon, but he still did not want to like give him any chance. He just was like going like ape shit with him. And he said like Hixon does only three moves. Like I have never seen him do a Kimura. I've never seen him do a triangle. I've never seen him do um even like guillotines. He does is like cross collar choke, guard and mount, armbar, guard and mount, rear naked choke, guard. I mean, with the gi and I mean without the gi. That's all he does. And he said like with Hixon, what if he grabs your collar, the other arm is gonna somehow find its way. And if both arms are on your collar, there is no way you're escaping the position. So I think like he has found the right moves that is gonna like work 100% of the time. and he has just like honed, like them to
All
perfection.
right, I'll give you a different perspective on that. He found the right moves against that guy.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's not. That's the only moves he does. Like, nope. I've seen him murder people in multiple ways. He finds the open door. So if you think if you're locked in a mansion and there's thousands of doors and every door is locked, you walk around and you rattle the doorknobs until you find the open door. Hixon found the open door for that guy. So he's going for the most effective thing. And I don't know this fucking guy, by the way, so I'm not shitting on him at all. I'm just saying, like, the most effective way to kill me is not the most effective way to kill that guy. So it's depending on what that cat was bringing
He
to the
gives
table.
you. Yeah.
So like he's taking what you give him, or he feels you giving that almost, so he'll kind of guide you towards it, and then he'll be like, okay. And then this might take a half an hour, but it's still happening.
Yeah.
It could be a half an hour here. Like I was watching him roll with Chris Howder. It was one of the greatest moments because it's two old lions. It's fucking cool. Like, Chris, don't let me pass your guard. And Chris like, yes, sir. So Chris wouldn't let him pass the guard. And Hicks is like, well, fuck you, I'm passing the guard. Because it was supposed to be like a learning experience. Like, don't let me pass and then I'll fix the things. But it was like 15 minutes of like, don't let me pass. Neither of them would back off an inch. Chris is like, fuck you, I am not letting you pass. And Hicks is like, fuck you, you are not stopping me. And it was such a beautiful moment to watch these two fucking warriors just like not concede on each other. It's a respectful moment for me. Like, fuck yeah, that's why I'm into this. But yeah,
And
once
damn,
he
like
gets
more
his
than
hands on what he's doing,
more than your money. Yeah.
Oh, always. Like, just the fact that like watching him do a warm up is worth more than my money.
Yeah.
It's brutal when you see people go to seminars for him and they're expecting like some kind of like bolo palata or some shit. And Hixon is literally teaching the chest push defense, and they don't understand how important the chest push defense is. Literally, the fingers inwards.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you study the online academy, but fucking do it. It's worth it. So almost 90% of my that's an important thing. So if I don't want you to touch my face, I control the middle.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I don't do this and I'm late to the sides, and I don't do this and I'm late to the center. I control the middle. If you come towards me, if I put my hands on your chest, I can't distribute my weight properly.
Yeah.
So if my elbows are low, you can touch me. So I do this, and it's a whole thing. And they just released a beautiful video with Kasia and Leo where he's doing the headlock and she's guiding it across. Mm-hmm. It is Chi Sao. It is Jeet Kune Do. It is every good martial art distilled into what is goddamn useful. If you go to a seminar and that's what he starts with, because he usually starts with like how to breathe, does a balloon thing, and then he starts teaching connection. And you have people like in orange Nasagis in the corner, like, and they just don't see how goddamn important everything that's happening is.
Yeah.
Like, if you just take a moment to crawl out of your own ass and pay attention to the effort this man put in, like watching him do his warm-ups, that's a lifetime of trying to figure out the correct warm-up. Fuck, man. Sorry, fanboy.
No, I'm a fanboy too, so I can like keep listening to all the stories. And so speaking of the breathing, like, is there any way I can like learn it step by step, or because I've seen you doing the fire breathing stuff too, like the one that Hixon does. Like,
okay, so yeah, that's the thing. The stomach vacuum thing. I don't know the cool yoga name for it, but that's not for breathing. That's an ab exercise, and it used to be for cleaning the intestines and rolling it so that you can get shit out of it.
Yeah,
you can help yourself, but it's basically transverse abdominis exercise, and that's fucking cool. As far as breathing goes, I am gonna film an instructional. Like, it's happening because I want to make it as pragmatic as I teach my jiu-jitsu. Because when I teach my students, I don't want to make it as like you're breathing in your chi. Like, you're not, man. It's CO2. It's science.
Yeah,
it's really basic. It's very important that you understand.
Trying to get your CO2 out so that you can make way for the oxygen influx.
I would do right now, the best instructor, the most pragmatic is Belisa Vranich. I'm sure everyone else has a million different options and opinions on the matter of who the greatest breathing instructor of all time. I've done a bunch of breathing privates with Hixon. I've done a fucking whole thing with Belisa and her brother Alexi. I recommend both. The key for breathing, if I'm doing exhale pulsations, that is upping the oxygen level in my bloodstream, and that's making me more awake and more alert. It's also a warm-up where I'm not using a lot of physicality and I'm waking up and raising my heart rate. Boom, done. Now, if I want to lower my heart rate, box breathing, out more than in, and start to calm down and visualize and all that stuff. I don't visualize shit. I literally, like, I out more than in, and I pay attention to my heart dropping. You ever watch Parks and Rec? There's a character called Ron Swanson, and this guy takes him to meditation, and he sits there and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna meditate." And he goes, "Okay." Like, would you like to sit down with me? He's like, "No, I'll just stand here." And he just fucking stands there. It's the same thing. He's like, "Wow, Ron, I've never seen someone so intent. What were you doing?" I was like, "Nothing." Like, you could do the same stuff. It doesn't have to be, I'm thinking about something positive. Like, it's a personal choice. Fucking slow your heart rate by breathing out more than in. Then up your heart rate by exhaling more than inhaling. It's I'm not doing that because I'm sure somebody's having breakfast behind me at this point.
But that's what I do when I roll, and people just like make fun of me. I mean, in a funny way, because
let them make fun of you until you have a full gas tank and they're dead.
Right.
I used to cop a lot of shit because I was at a school in Australia, and I was really, really impressed with this before I ever knew Hixon, before I ever trained with anyone Hixon. It was the idea of keeping my gas tank intact. And I was like an athlete at the time, like struggling to do shit all the time. And I was always gassed because I used to be a heavy smoker when I was a teenager. And then eventually it was like, okay, so how can I fix that problem? And I found that really worked for me. And they're like, "Oh, what are you gonna do? Choo 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 choo." Like, I just choked the shit out of them.
Yeah.
So that's a solid answer. Beat them. Breathe weird and still kick their ass, and they stop making fun of you.
They call me the Thomas the Tank Engine.
Be a Thomas the Tank Engine of death. So, yeah. People make fun of you until they can't make fun of you anymore.
Yeah. My last question is, athleticism, I have like, okay, so when you train with Hixon, so do you go with like an agenda, or is just like whatever he wants to teach?
Okay, so the main times, the very first times that I trained with him, I would walk in just an open book, period. Like, I don't care what you teach me because it is gold. I'm in 1,000%. And those are the times that I learned concepts more than anything. But then eventually I had a very clear plan. I wanted to make a curriculum. I wanted to refine a curriculum with him, and I wanted to go over all of the SDU. So when he did the self-defense unit, that is Elio's syllabus. That is the Gracie Jiu-Jitsu syllabus. That's the most important shit. If you don't know self-defense, you don't know jiu-jitsu, suck back dicks. I don't care how you feel about it. If you don't know defense, you don't deserve offense. Basically, you're scrambling for submissions. And I'm not going to shit on, catch wrestling or any other grappling like Sambo. Yeah. Like, I've done all of them and I love all of them in their own way. But I'm not here to out athlete somebody and out submit somebody. I'm here to survive until you kill yourself. Mm-hmm. I prefer that. Always have. Every time I went in there, I went in with a notebook filled with questions, and they all went together. Every single thing led to a thing, and I want to know exactly what you want me to teach these students at this time. And that built up over time to the point where we were going through Elio's syllabus, the whole book, and refining everything from there and adding stress to how you test a student. So for me, I have a big pile of notebooks that are in a very specific order, that, like, I had 30 things that became 5 things that became 2 things, and they have a name. That's how I did all of my stuff with Hixon. Meanwhile, I just had lunch with a friend in London, and he said the last time I was with Hixon, he got mad at me for having a notebook. I was like, I don't know why he puts up with my shit at all. Because, like, apparently you're not supposed to do the notebooks. So
Really? Huh.
fuck, I don't fucking know, man.
Hmm.
So that man is a fucking enigma for the rest of my life. He is nebulous. He contains volumes, multitudes. He contains multitudes. I don't understand him.
But I have seen like you in a lot of his short clips. You know, he does stuff on you like the knee bar, the latest Hixon Academy clips. I've seen a bunch of them with you, like Hixon showing stuff on you. Do you know
They
that?
film me. Yeah, probably. Yeah, they filmed me for a few things. But like,
Yeah.
did they get the video of me crying in the corner after? Or
No.
I've wasted 20 years. It's so good. Why wasn't I here to begin with? Um, yeah, like I go in with a clear intent every time, and I try and herd cats. I make sure that I bring in the right people for the right thing, because if I bring in somebody that doesn't know base, the private lesson is more about fixing that person.
Yeah.
So he
You won't
likes
get
it
anything
when
out of it. Yeah.
no, I always get something. It doesn't matter. I will watch him teach base every day until I die, because every time he teaches it, there's a tiny thing that I missed because I'm stupid. So, like I said, and shove a brick in my head. So every time he teaches, I'm learning. Doesn't matter what he's teaching. Like for real, just the idea of pulling the pinky to the elbow was a thing that I didn't get for a decade.
What's that?
And that's
I'm sorry.
all. Oh fuck you, that's mine. No, there's a whole thing. And if I try to explain it, there's like 30 things before the pinky pulls to the elbow. So,
Okay.
all right. So what I just said is why I organize the people that I organize to go in that room with me,
Right.
because it used to be like, hey, come, let's all get together, and then hey, come, let's all get together except for you. Hey, come, let's all get together, but only you two, and then on Friday, the three of you. So it had to be an organizational thing. And at some point, I remember I was sitting with Hixon. He was like, you don't have to organize these people. They can do it themselves. And I was like, can they? Like, I got to make sure that these guys are in at this time and these guys are in at this time so that we can achieve a very specific goal. Because OCD, like, I know these people know what we're doing and we can add to that. I know these people know what we're doing over here and we can add to that. So I have a plan. If you're not part of the plan, it doesn't mean you're not part of the plan, right? You're there. I promise.
Yeah.
I just have I have a very specific intent on how we preserve this and how we share this. And I'm not sure everybody has that. They just have their own set goal. I want to make sure that we all have the ability to have this phone book and go pass it on to your friend, because this is the book.
Yeah.
Go.
The gospel.
You can get weird with it. Yeah, you do you with the gospel. Do whatever you need to. But I need to make sure that this stuff was like, what's the first thing you want that white belt to know? Okay, what's the second thing if he does this? And what's the third thing if he does this? Because trying to get that out of Hixon is very hard. It is, because it's more of a feel than do. So you have to guide the feel so that he says the do. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if
He's not
that's
into like academia like John Danaher, where he like structures everything and like forms a very structured pedagogy. You know what I'm saying? He just like,
you'd have
okay,
to
this is
ask
what.
him. I can't speak for him. Like he might be, and he might not say it the way John does. He might not come out as like he's on a podium, like trying to explain things with really big words that only the big word people understand.
Yeah.
Like Hixon really wants to share this with everybody, because like I said, you said a medicine ball and the person falls off the medicine ball. Hixon was talking about a disc. Like, he's using that's jujitsu. That's jujitsu. You see the way broadly you can add whatever you want to your broadness. Like, you can go over here and do Taraka Plata because you understand the idea. Like, if you understand the idea of the Kimura and you can't execute the Kimura, so you bring your leg in, like your leg's stronger than the arm. I don't see a problem with that. Do it, but you're giving up base. So there's a couple deficits in my eyes.
Right.
But once you understand what that is, you can do you. So I want that phone book of here's what you need to know so that you can get weird with it, Tiger. That's how we can grow. That's how we can refine and we can change and evolve.
Have you
Not
ever
by
like
just doing cool moves.
Yeah. Have you ever like gone over those new age moves with like Hixon? Hey, Hixon, like, this is a
Fuck yeah.
technical platter. What do you think about this? Like,
Oh no, Terracotta is not a new age thing. It's just a funny name. I just love saying it. So I
no,
like shitting on
yeah, but it's like the legs Kimura or something like that. I don't think like
yeah.
those existed in Hixon's time
Oh,
or
they're
something.
silly. So they're very silly. The idea of being able to do the coolest, newest thing. I remember specifically, my friend Joseph was in there, and he'd been training at a sports school because he moved to a town that was nothing but sport, and they're doing the coolest, newest sport stuff. And he's old school crawl. He trains with them, so
Yeah,
he gets like the
Cron
crawl
Gracie's,
version of
yeah,
Hixon.
yeah,
Yeah, so he's not used to the new school stuff so much as the crawl version. So he went and he was with us at the Hixon. He was like, dude, they keep doing this thing and I don't know what it is. What do I do? And he goes, do it to me. And he did the move to him. He's like, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Okay, there's your answer. He physically feels the thing and then goes, no, no, no. And this is why you're stupid. Right? So just because you can do something doesn't make it a good idea. You can stick your dick in a fucking light socket. It's not a good idea. So you could do the coolest move in the fucking world. It might be a good move, but until you run it through that filter of is it a dick in a light socket,
yeah,
like you can let it go. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Cool. So every once in a while, because I try not to waste my time with him, like I don't give a fuck. If I can touch your face, it's not a problem for me.
Yeah.
I understand that it's a problem for some people. If I get stuck in a guard situation where I got to pass that, that's not my context. It's not my goal. If I can put a thumb in your eye, I'm fine. That's my answer. I'm fine. I don't want to waste any more of my time because I already know how to pass Spider. I know how to pass Dele, Hiva. I know how to pass the last suit. All these cool things that don't really exist in my context.
Right.
Sorry. Right. And that's not diminishing them in any way because they definitely exist and they're a pain in someone's ass.
Yeah.
It's not my problem. Right. I'm worried about my problem. So when I go in there, my questions are geared specifically towards certain things.
Right.
And if I get a cool thing on whatever the cool new submission, how do I stop that one? Like, yeah, I'm down. But I was very lucky for him to teach how to teach yourself, how to get out of these silly things.
Yeah.
That being said, like I had no idea that I could get out of omoplata by doing the escape to a rear bear hug. Like those are cool things where you see the way fucking broadly.
Yeah.
Doing a makikomi is the answer to like a million things. And when you can start to see that the makikomi is the answer to a lot of stuff, you stop thinking about, all right, what's the answer? Like the answer's probably already there. You didn't see the forest for the trees. Yeah. So the answer was lean left.
Yeah. Pretty much. I mean, you could just break it down to just pretty much lean left, lean right, based off of the feel. And you should like write connection. A book or make an instructional of like how to build a successful relationship with Hixon. You know what I'm saying?
I have no idea why he's put up with me for so long. I'm expecting the bullet in the back of the head at any point. Because like I feel like I need to say it more publicly. Like I know I don't represent the family that the way they would want to be represented. Because I was with someone who's very close to the family, and he was like, "Man, you're doing a great job, but can you swear less?"
Oh, like, he said that. Oh,
yeah, like he didn't mean anything offensive by it because he's a really fucking nice guy. Like, well, you know, you're you, and I'm really happy that you're doing you. So you do you.
Yeah.
But I guarantee that there's a Gracie out there that fucking hates me at this point because this is not what they were intending. And man, I wasn't what I'm intending, but I'm not going to lie to myself. I'm not going to not be me, and I'm not going to try and pretend to be someone else to make other people happy. That's not my goal in my life. Yeah. I've been through enough stupid shit to try. Like I'm not pleasing anyone. I'm trying to fix this. Yeah. So if you're
the most
not happy with
honest
me,
and like genuine way, just be expressing yourself, just like Hixon expresses himself through jiu-jitsu. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like man,
has he watched your shit?
Oh man, he saw that video that blew up like a hemorrhoid where it was where the quarter guard doesn't exist and I put the elbow in the chin.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, hey, I should probably tell you this. Sorry. I'm on the internet now because I thought it was a good business strategy for everyone because no one's doing it, by the way. No one's doing the Instagram thing. They're doing here's a cool move and here's a step-by-step equation. All right. So this woman came in and she said, wow, you're fucking nuts. Can I film you and make you famous? And I was like, well, it depends on what your version of fame is because this is not important in my world.
Right.
I understand that it can be useful, but if it falls away and I'm teaching on a beach tomorrow, cool. That's great for me. This is not my goal, but I can see how useful it can be. And from all the notes that I'm getting, people are very happy that I'm doing what I'm doing. But I'm also getting a bunch of white knights that come in and be like, I would have done it this way because I'm better than you. Like, oh, okay, well then do it. No, because people will shit on me. Like nobody wants to be the guy that's the villain that everyone can make fun of and shit on. Right. But I'm fine. You can shit on me as much as you want.
At least somebody's like going out there and like, you know,
I'm trying
doing the thing. You know, that is like more, bro. Like when I watch a video, I'm not gonna like count how many fucks I heard. I'm just gonna like get the concept.
Somebody did.
Right.
So somebody did.
That means that they're like looking forward to something more than jiu-jitsu. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not like interested. They're interested in like.
They're interested in feeling good about themselves. Right. So if I can make a noise with my mouth that offends you, who's the weak one?
Right.
Come on, man. That's some Viktor Frankl shit. Like I don't think you should be offended by language, but I do think I can clear things up to reach a broader horizon because not everybody is offended, but some are, and I have to start to. I don't really care. Like if you're offended by a word, that's kind of your problem, not mine. But there's a version of me coming eventually that wants to be able to teach kids. And I know that parents will not allow a child to be in a room with a guy as vulgar as me. So I'll try and pretend, but not pretend. I don't know, because I swear in front of my kid, because I literally said, fuck dad. And my kid goes, fuck dad. I'm like, that's funny. That's funny to me. Sorry, it's funny to me.
Yeah.
But whatever. I think I digress as usual. I don't want to misrepresent the Gracies.
Yeah, but as long as you're like representing them like perfectly, technique wise, that's all I would care as a guy that like consume.
Well, here's the annoying thing: every Gracie has their own version, so I'm not perfect according to every Gracie.
Hixon, yeah.
I'm just trying. I can only be me, and I can never be Hixon. But I can respect Hixon and I can wear the patch and go, this is the guy that I respect enough to try and share his version. And I'm sorry about the me that's in front of his version.
That is so stupid because according to me, because I do not know if I would ever meet Hixon and get a private with him in my lifetime. So I respect people like you going out there and like putting all these like concepts as you know, as understandable as possible. And like, you know, if I hear like 10 fucks, I don't care. I mean, I use those words as well. So I just don't like get offended by shit like that. I mean, unless I have a kid around or something like that. But, you know, people like you, Jack Doffer, Henry Akins, those are the only people that can give me some kind of access to Hixon shit because like I don't think it's very highly unlikely that I'm gonna like meet him in my lifetime. And you know, maybe because like
you could do the guy from Africa thing.
Yeah.
Did Jack ever tell you that story?
Yeah. He said like he gave him like gifts and stuff, like clothes and stuff. Yeah.
You can take a chance and book a plane ticket.
Yeah.
There's no reason you can't do anything other than you. So if you want to do something, be willing to fail. So book the plane ticket, pick a date, and if you show up and he just decides that he stubbed his toe, fuck it, you tried. Yeah. That's the best you're going to get, and you're the only one that can do that, not him. So if you want to do it, make it happen, sir.
Yeah, I'm trying, but like I just want like some
or you can put up with this.
Yeah.
Fucking, I wouldn't put up with this. I would go straight to the fucking tiger. I would go to the lion.
But that's what you did, right? From Australia to LA. That's fucking, you know, appreciable, bro. Like,
yeah, with the fear of flying too. Like, I could die for this. Like, so like I'll wrap this up because I gotta get going in like 10 because I gotta go teach privates. Yeah. For me, I saw something that meant something to me. and I get one life. You get one shot.
Yeah.
I don't know if I get to live again. I don't know if there's a heaven or a hell. I don't know if I have to come back to this and do it all over. I'm going to do something important to me. I'm going to have moments with the ocean. I'm going to have moments with my son and my wife. I'm going to stare at the sunset. At sex and sunsets, man. Sex and sunsets. That's the most important shit. If you're worried about all this other silly shit, man, that's your choice. I made a very deliberate decision that I'm not going to waste what little life I have. I'm doing this, and I did it. So for me, when I started jujitsu with the intent of learning how to defend myself because I want to be able to rely on myself before I die. That was my very baseline thing. I want to know how to take care of myself. I want to know how to feed myself. I want to know how to survive because I can't rely on anyone. I have abandonment issues. I should probably go to therapy. I'm going to make sure that I can take care of myself, period. Now, what's the smartest way of taking care of myself? Checkbox. Cool. I'm going to learn jujitsu. Okay, I accidentally did judo. Jiu-jitsu's next week. Cool. Like 10 years into jujitsu, like I should probably do judo as well. Anyways, I'm doing jujitsu. Okay, this isn't working the way I thought it was going to work. And a really smart guy, at least I thought he was smart until I met him, and he turned out to be a silly fucking idiot, told me that this is good. I'm going to keep trying. And then I kept finding instructors, and the instructor that learned from this instructor. Okay, maybe I should go to this instructor. Okay, maybe this one. No, maybe this one. And people shit on that. Like, how dare you change? Like, how dare you teach me something wrong? Right. I'm going to go over here where he taught you this. And then, oh shit, he taught you that. Oh shit, it's getting clearer. Oh, it's getting much clearer. Oh, it's much shit. It's really clear. This is exactly what I wanted 2 fucking decades ago. 2 decades.
Right.
This was what I was looking for. And if I got distracted along the way because, Johnny's not going to like me if I go over here. That's me. And that's me in my head going like, I really care how Johnny feels about it. If Johnny gave a fuck about me, he'd give a fuck about me learning what I was passionate about learning. Not how did I pay? Yeah. How did I help him pay for his academy? Fuck off. No, I've got guys that are like, dude, he's over here. Go. Keep going. Keep going. Dude, he's over that way. Go. 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 Oh my God, I can help you over here. Those are the people that you should align yourself with. Those are the ones that are helping you achieve your goals. And guess what you should do in return? Help them achieve theirs. You should fucking not be a selfish cunt. And you should help others, help them their way up. So anyways, there you go. If you want to do it, do it. Quit being a bitch. Fucking make it happen.
Yes, I am going to.
Yeah, I did it. David Goggins, poopy pants. Fucking go do some push-ups by the ocean like Jocko.
Who's gonna carry the boats?
I don't know who's gonna carry the boat. Not me. I have a bad back and I'm tired. Who's gonna carry the boats? Is that a Goggins thing?
I'm gonna surprise you by waiting outside of Hixon studio before you do on a private, you know.
Oh man,
and then like
that's
you're gonna be like
wild.
Surprise your ass.
Do it. I guarantee. I love.
That's how you know I'm living my fucking life. You know what I'm saying?
Sorry, like I guarantee. That's why I love guys like Jocko and David, and I never listen to them, but I'm like fucking cool, man. Like that's solid. I can really respect that because they live with intent. Like a lot of people live with intent. They exist.
You're up there too. Like, bro, if somebody wants to go to meet Hixon, not knowing if that's gonna happen from Australia, you got my fucking respect.
Yeah, well, fuck, man. I wish I could have met the Africa cat because I think that's cool. I think that's cool, and I think maybe Hixon puts up with me because of that. I don't know. I try not to poke the bear on that shit. I don't want to know. I remember a friend of mine was hanging out with him. He's like, we had to talk about you. I was like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know what either of you said about me. Let's leave it at that.
Yeah.
So, fuck. Again, I don't know when the ship is going to sail away, but every time that door opens, I'll be there with intent and passion and respect. And I'm trying to do something more important than myself because I think that's where your life finds its purpose. And I think that's where you find your bliss. is by doing something more important than you. And if I can pass this down to my son, also, I don't know if my son's going to give a shit. Like my son could end up being a banker. I don't know, but
True.
I'm going to have something to
But
pass
one
down.
good thing was I saw like you and your wife taking a private together with Hixon. So that's like a
Yeah.
supportive family, according to me. I'm saying.
Oh, dude, my wife, she very interesting story on that one. She went there, and I teach Hixon from like day one. I don't teach moves, and she knows more than most black belts, and I can say that. I remember her posting a video, and I'm not shitting on the Budo Jake guy. I've never met him, and I'm sure he's fucking nice. Like, and everybody I know that knows him, like Jack knows him, he's a fucking cool guy. You don't know what you don't know until you know. So I remember her posting that video and writing some comment about like, I love the fact that I know this and a black belt doesn't. I'm very proud of what my husband's doing. Like, I think this is more important than winning cool games, personally. That's it. That's it. And you don't know what you don't know until you know it. So
She
when she
meant the
walked in that
UPA,
room,
the
no, she
UPA
was
thing.
doing the throw over. So the rear grab defense,
Yeah.
and the
Sticking your
tailbone
butt
connecting to
out.
the
Yeah.
femur.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the tailbone has to connect to the femur. It's not
Yeah.
sticking the butt out. What you have to do is stop the femur from moving because the
Right.
hip joint moves. You walk backwards and you walk in a sliding base, lowering your hips before you put your head between your knees. Important information in English. But when she was doing the private, she was being filmed with Mushi and Kasia, and she's doing everything and she's doing it right. And Hixie goes, yes, to her, and her eyes light up. And then he looks at me like, fuck yeah. And I'm like, this is the greatest moment of my life. I taught Hixon Jiu-Jitsu, and my wife is doing it with Hixon, and Hixon's giving me approval.
Thumbs up.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
You can make fun of me all you want. I don't care. I'm good.
Yeah. Nobody ain't making fun of you. I mean, nobody nobody respecting Hixon's thing and what you're doing out for the society that is really in need of good jiu-jitsu is gonna like make fun of you if somebody does. Fuck him, I don't care. Because
It depends on what you think good jiu-jitsu is, apparently,
yeah,
because I got a lot of people that shit on me.
The triangle one that you were showing in a video like a couple of days ago, I was like I'm trying to work on it, like where you don't get punched. It's like the total opposite way of going toward, because like you always go towards the opposite side to get the right angle, the perpendicular angle to get the but you can get punched there. So I saw you
What's
do that. I was like,
important,
dang.
what's important about that is that it starts from the closed valetudo guard, and the valetudo guard is usually taught incorrect because of the game of telephone. And I got into an argument with an ex-employer because the ex-employer loves doing new cool stuff because he hangs out with the new cool guys and wants to be part of the new cool crew. So I would teach this and go, this is why we do this. And then I remember him arguing it. Yeah, but you can do this, 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 and this. I was like, yeah, but you can get punched. I don't care if I can get punched. All of the students that joined here came in to learn how to defend themselves. So I'm teaching them how to defend themselves. And then if they want to play the game, I'm happy to show them that. But if you are a white belt and you're in this room, I'm going to teach this because you don't get punched. Then you can play the game. It's very important in my heart. And I remember him like shitting on me to other people and like, well, we do it this way and this way and this way because this. I'm like, all right, man. So it's a point of contention with a lot of people that I care about self-defense more than I care about winning a game, more than I care about evolving and learning. All right, you can evolve and learn. You're really not. You're just kind of reinventing a wheel and you're feeling special about it because my wheel's really shiny right now.
Right.
Okay. So I lost a lot of respect for that guy in that one moment because but they teach this way. Like I was on the road and this guy from the guy from this like choked out Hodger. I'm like, first off, he didn't choke Hodger. Shut up. That's not a thing.
Who choked
he's doing
Hodger?
This and
nobody choked Hodger.
Fucking no one. I remember him trying to explain to me like, man, this guy that choked out Hodger at his academy showed me this. And I'm like,
he knows nothing about jiu-jitsu. Nobody choked Hodger.
Yeah, no, I'm sure somebody has because you have to get choked to get good at stuff. You have to fail
in the
to
training
learn.
that's
but
different.
I'm just
in the
saying,
competition where everybody could watch.
Yeah, like whatever. I'd be very amazed with a man who's choked Hodger and started gloating about it. the idea is like he showed me the thing and I got out of it. I was doing it wrong. I was like, sure, do it right. And then he did it the way that he was taught to do it right. I was like, cool, there's always a deficit. So think about your percentages. If there's that many deficits, I'm not doing it because it's cool, man. Sorry. And if you can touch my face, I still don't need to do it because I don't care. I don't want to be the best at what's cool right now. I want to be the fucking best at not dying. That's why I started.
Survival.
I started to learn how to defend myself. I didn't start for a new cool hobby and an ice bath. That's what's happening now, and that's cool. You do you.
Depends on what your objective is, but don't mix both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I personally, like, if you want to spar and you leave all that space, that's your fault. When I spar, I'm worried about distance management more than I'm worried about a sweep, more than I'm worried about a submission. I'm worried about my safety more than the success. And I don't care about the timer. If I can stand up, if I can get to my knees, if I can sweep you, 3 wins. If I can survive, that's the win. If I can submit you, fucking yeah, dude, even better. But that's not the goal for me. The goal was kill me. You know, like, if you can find a way to kill me, that's my deficit, and I know what I need to work on now. You know, my goal is not I'm going to be on that podium and Dad's going to be real proud of me.
Right. So, no, I understand. I'm just alive and not in the fucking like morgue. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's the Sylvia Plath sense of the term. Anyways, I talked a lot of shit. Happy?
I am happy that I gotta like talk a lot of good content about jiu-jitsu, you know what I'm saying? And you know, because like a lot of people don't, you know how to extract the right things from right people. I just, I mean, it's a travesty that like a lot of people might not even like follow you because like they're more intent on following John Danaher, you know, for the next upcoming competition.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
Nothing wrong with that. But this part of jiu-jitsu, the real part of jiu-jitsu, needs to be preserved. And you know, you are one of the guys that's like trying to pass it over to the next generation. So I really appreciate that. And I don't give a fuck about how many fucks you say in a fucking video. And I don't give a fuck about you know. So I
am so sorry. Hixon, I'm sorry. God.
I mean, I'm sure like Hixon swears.
Yeah, he does, but he's a professional. He doesn't swear on camera in front of millions of people. Like, he swears in personal conversation. I had this discussion the other day. Like, yeah, I want to be Pedro Sauer so bad, but the second I start to try and be him, I don't feel like I'm me, and I feel like shit. And somebody once told me, like, be you. Everyone else is taken.
Yeah.
So I am unfortunately me, whether you like it or not. And you can feel good about yourself as much as you want by comparing yourself to me, but comparison is the thief of joy. So I'm fine. If I'm teaching jiu-jitsu to kids on the beach and no one's watching, I'm still happy. So fuck off. And scene. I gotta go yell at some guys in Singapore. It was really good to see you. I'm sorry.
Good to see you. Yeah.
But
I'm really grateful you gave me this interview. Yeah. Huh? I'm sorry?
I'm thankful you gave a fuck to want to do it. But send me another note because I like you as a person. So we'll keep talking, okay?
Yeah, we'll keep talking. We can like even like call later sometimes when you're free.
I don't mind, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Yuri's gonna kill me if I'm late and I don't know how to stop this.
Now I'll let you go. This. Yeah, thanks for everything.
Okay. See you later, man. Take care.
Bye.
Oh, I found it.